What's going on, family? What's going on, family? Welcome to Nightly Notions. Welcome to Nightly Notions podcast on BLKMailTV network, BLKMailTV channel, powered by LSG. That's right, you heard it here first. Powered by love plus support equals growth. I hope you guys are hearing me well. I hope everything's coming through nice and good. And if it is, please put a 1 in the chat so that I know you can hear me well. And let me just turn this music down a bit in the background. Here we go. That's good. So this is the first time you are joining the channel. Let me do my dues. Big shout out to the BLKMailTV family. And if this is the first time you're coming across our platform, coming across the podcast, please join us, sit down, have a glass of wine, get a drink, and let's sit down and have a conversation. Because on this platform here, we're talking about the realness, we're talking about group economics, we're talking about building back our families, we're talking about legacy, prosperity, and heritage. And we're talking about that for all people, but it predominantly and first and foremost for our melanated brothers and sisters. So that's where we're at today. This podcast, guys, usually I direct it at men, but obviously women are more than welcome. You see what I'm saying? Because we need our sisters to be in the conversation as well. Yeah, the last podcast I did was talking about the male image, and the podcast I did before that was talking about the economic castration and the economic, excuse me, my bad, I didn't put my phone on silent. The economic castration and the economic destruction of us as a people in the West. So I've got a great video for you today, guys. You see what I'm saying? For the big man himself, Dr. Claude Anderson, who wrote two books, no less, speaking about group economics equals powernomics, and how we as a people can use certain mechanisms and certain tools at our disposal to be able to remove ourselves out of the disenfranchisement of poverty state that we're in, or lack of wealth. Because contrary to popular belief, a lot of people understand and know that, you know, the diaspora and Africa combined have about $3 trillion worth of wealth, about a 1 point something in the diaspora and about 2.2 trillion in Africa on the continent. So when you put those two numbers together, we have a $3 trillion spending power at this moment in time. But that number, considering that we have all the wealth, that we have all the resources, that we have all the people, the labor, should be exponentially more. Now, considering that the United States is at 25 trillion, but people haven't paid attention to what's happened in the West, right? The West is running a deficit. Go look at the debt clock. Google it. Type debt clock USA, debt clock. You know what? While we're on the channel, let me just type it up. Debt clock USA. Real-time feed. Let's just go here real quick, because I did a podcast the other day talking about the Bloomberg report that was done in the UK by the Office of National Statistics, which revealed, shock horror, which revealed that Black and African, excuse me, let me get this right, that what the article said was Black, Caribbean, Black Africans in the UK in the last 10 years have amassed zero wealth when dealing with, or when counting that wealth through home ownership, passing on down inheritance. So I just want you guys to know and see something, right? Because when you go to work and you get paid, right? You deduct all your costs, your bills, your phone bill, your car note, all the rest of those things. You deduct all those things, right? And then what you're left with is what you're going to live on. If you're left with money, then yeah, you can have some fun this year. We can do some stuff. If you're not left with any money, guess what? You're in the red. So let's share. Before I even show you this video, let me just share my screen so that you can see, not from my words, but from the screen itself, the US National Debt Clock, real time, what the debt is. I hope you can see it. I hope you can see it. Over here in the red, US national debt, 28 trillion. And it's still going up, right? Debt per citizen, $85,000. Debt per taxpayer. Citizen includes children, mind you. Let's not forget about that, because it's citizens. Debt per taxpayer, 226,113. So let's look at how much money they're making. Now over here in the green, it says here U.S. gross domestic product. So what does the country make? So as you can see, they're at 22 trillion. Now, I'm not that much of a mathematician. I was a C student in school, you see what I'm saying, when it came to certain things like this. So for all of you brain heads out there, you can do the maths, get your calculator out, forget the trillions on the side. 22 minus 28 leaves you what? 6 trillion. So they are 6 trillion, as you can see underneath here, 6 trillion over what they're actually making. So the US government makes 22, they spend 22, but they still owe 6. Just so you know, right? And the UK is no different, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the debt clock for the UK so we can see where the UK is standing, whether they are in line with the, there we go. National debt of the UK is 1 trillion. GDP is 2 trillion. So that's what they're saying. They're saying we owe 1 trillion, 1.8 trillion, right? And the GDP is 2 trillion. So you need to understand that these Western superpowers are in a financial bind right about now. But let's go back into the video. Let me show you what's going on with Dr. Claude Anderson and what his suggestion is for us as a voting strictly for you. Right? So let's watch the video.
Yourselves resign from the Republican Party, resign from the Democratic Party, resign from the Libertarian Party, resign from the Freedom Now Party, and join a Black independent national party and vote strictly for your own selves, your own self-interest. Do not run into candidates. Vote in a block nationally. You're 36% of the voting block. I say you can control politics in this country if you start voting as a block. And for anyone, regardless of color, black, white, pink, yellow, polka dot, or a black streak down their back, doesn't make any difference. Just vote for them based on their commitment. Those who promise the most and will deliver the most, simply straight to black folk. Nothing else matters. I'm tired of telling black people, forget the crap. Now you're back in the hole again. Democratic Party ain't gonna do a damn thing for black folk. And the Democratic Party was the people that originally is.
So he's already gone straight into the video, guys. You see what I'm saying? As you can see, Dr. Claude Anderson does not mess about. He's coming straight with the fire. He ain't even playing.
My nigga.
But before we get into that, let me just drop you a little bit of who this guy, so not who he, well, you all know who he is, right? But let me just drop you a little bit about what this guy has done, right? So he wrote a number of books, right? And one of the books that he wrote, I don't have one, I have the other one. He wrote 2 books, well, more than 2 books, but I have these 2 books I'm going to speak about. One is he wrote in 1994 called Black Labor, White Wealth, The Search for Power and Economic Justice. I will suggest everybody get that book and have a read. And in that book, he writes about the structural inequalities that became part of our society during slavery, Jim Crow, segregation. That's in the United States he's predominantly speaking about. 7 years after he wrote that book, he wrote another book, right, which I'm going to speak about in a second. But I'm going to speak on this one right now. So Black Labor, White Wealth analyzed the historical relationships between white and black people in America. He then tracked how the Western world used laws, policies, and social customs to enrich itself via the unpaid labor of enslaved black Africans. Notice black Africans. Black Labor, White Wealth is the book is like a manuscript. It's like a document that shows you or guides you on how the legal, the political, and the economic advantages were taken and passed on to succeeding generations of white Americans. This is what he's putting in the book for you, family. And he goes on to speak a lot more about what's going on. He says, let me read this part here. He says, The legacies of these policies, political and economic advantages, has left the black community effectively maldistributed nearly 100% of the nation's wealth into the hands of the ruling elite, the ruling power, and relegated the black community to a permanent, dependent, non-competitive loser status. And I read it last week in the report, both in the United States and in the UK, in terms of home ownership and wealth gap, wealth divide, wealth generation, wealth inheritance. We're coming in a big fat zero, family. Big fat zero. First time says we must leave the oppressors, transnational capitalist, financial governmental systems alone. Well, 100% agree with that. Fresh start, 100% agree with that. You drop some bars here. The oppressors, transnational capitalist, financial governmental systems have never helped us. They will never help us. That's exactly right, because they are designed to maintain the status quo, which is what these two books talk about. So his first book talks about the historical part, and the second book, which is called Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black Americans. That's, of course, he's focusing on Black Americans. But for me personally, and my opinion, is this book and the information that he has in this book can be utilized by any diaspora as well as those on the continent. But that's just me, right? What do I know? So Claude Anderson says in his book, Powernomics, he said it represents a conceptual framework and a plan to lead Black America to political and economic self-sufficiency and competitiveness by the year 2005. Now, obviously, he wrote this quite a while back. But as you can see, nothing has changed from the dynamic where he wrote it to what's happening now. But I do firmly agree with him that to a certain degree, and we'll go on. Let me keep reading before I give my little input on that, right? So he says the plan is to lead the Black America to political and economic self-sufficiency and competitiveness. The term Powernomics combines the concepts of power, the ability to change and manifest, and economics, the ability to manage, resource, and add value to them. Power, as he says it there, power is the ability to get things done despite the resistance and opposition of others. That's what power is. Despite the resistance and opposition of others coming into the situation. That's what power is, family. And we have to ask ourselves, do we have the power? He goes on. Economics, because remember it's powernomics, so a combination of the two words, power and economics. Powernomics then is the ability of Blacks to pool resources and power to produce, there's a reason, produce, distribute, and consume in a way that creates goods and wealth that we control. The facts and recommendations presented in his book, the Powernomics book, are sometimes very stark, come across as bitter medicine, direct. And he believes because Powernomics is a strong tool, therefore a strong tonic is intended or needed to stir into action and guide those who are motivated to help in the situation. Now, those are the two things of his book, right? So let's go back to the video and let's hear a bit more about what he has to say, right? Guys, you're coming in. Don't forget, hit the like button. It's about group economics. It's about growth. It's about love plus support equals growth. LSGMindset. Building a new set of principles and walking in a new set of principles. Love, accountability, humility, and integrity. Plus group economic, independent mindset, and a group self-interest equals growth, action. Because love is an action, it's a doing word. It's a doing word. Don't believe the religion, what they're trying to tell you about Christianity. Listen, don't believe that nonsense. The scriptures tell you plainly, love is a doing word, it's an action. But this Western world wants to give you a romantic feeling of love, the same way they want to give you a romantic notion of what racism is. We're going to get into it. It's not about racism. It's not about the color of your skin. It's about who controls the economic power and therefore who rules on this world, on this plane. That's what it's always been about. So let's see what Claude Anderson has to say. Let's get some more into it. I'm going to be quiet for a hot minute.
Slave you back in 1789. They held you in slavery until 1860s. And now, for 10 years, you went with the Republican Party. You went with the Republican Party up until for only about 10 years. That was called Reconstruction. Said we want to go back and do and correct what the Democratic Party had did for 360 years. We're going to correct some of that bull. And so from 1865 up to about 1875, that was it. Republicans put out and they gave this would give black folks a chance. And within about another 30 or 40 years, so by 1865, 1870, the damn Democrats had taken over again. They got you again. And all they're going to do is practice what I call social liberalism, non-economic liberalism.
Sorry, family. I have to stop it there, right? Did you hear what he said? He said they're going to practice non-economic social liberalism.
Here. Why, yes,
yeah, you didn't hear that? No, that means then they're going to give you all their culture, right? And remember, these are Grecians. So the Greek culture is what? Pedophilia, homosexuality, transgenderism, hypergamy with the women taking over. They're going to give you their culture, but they're not going to give you none of the resources that you deserve, that you worked for, that you slaved for, that your ancestors slaved for, that are our ancestors. They're not going to give that to us, because to give that to us is to put them in that position. We have to understand this. So every time we go around marching and asking for this and asking for that and shucking and jiving and doing exactly what we are perpetuating the same thing. Every time we're arguing with each other, men against women, black against white, this against that, light skin against dark skin, brothers against brothers. They're laughing at you because it's all about economics. Look at China. Look what China was able to accomplish in 30 years just by putting their head down and working together. We can do this. But we have to connect to our power. That's the part I'm not discussing right now, because we're discussing economics. But yes, first time, you were absolutely right. Our spiritual connection to our Creator is the reason why we are in this mess, because we do not want to turn back to our Creator, to turn back to His instructions, laws, statutes, and principles, morals, ethics, discipline. The foundational principles that He set forth in the scriptures for us to manifest and rule our lives. That's why our women are out of order. That's why our children are out of order. That's why our men are out of order. Oh my God! Because they're sitting here following after the Gentiles' culture, the Gentiles' way of life, and we do not want to do the work that's necessary to build our nation back. It begins with family, it begins with our women, it begins with our children, and first and foremost, it begins with our men. Establishing the love back into them, establishing the principles back into them, establishing the weightier matters back into them, which is love, righteousness, justice, integrity, truth, honor. We ain't perfect. Nobody's perfect. And we have to accept that and start from that place of humility to come together. But not all of us will. This is what he says. So let's listen some more.
You ain't gonna get a damn thing from him. And here's in the paper today where Biden came out and says, in the papers, all over the paper now, said, I'm not gonna support any reparations for black. And then Harris has said that way before when she was running, that I'm not gonna do anything specifically to help black folk get into reparations. And I say to black folk, what are you thinking about? They said, well, we listen to all these blacks that come on the news every day and in the newspapers during an election and tell us we should go out vote as a bloc for the Democratic Party, and they're going to take good care of us. I said, yeah, they're going to take care of you the same way they took care of you during slavery. And what you're going to
Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, and I make mental health education videos. A delusion is a fixed false belief, and despite evidence that goes against what you believe, you still believe it.
So the evidence that Claude Anderson is showing you right here is that what? This every time you go with a begging bowl, you go into Hitler to complain about Hitler's gods. Then you go down to the senators and all the rest of those people, the politicians, and you complain to them about Hitler, the president. There's something wrong with us as a people, man. Did you hear what delusion is? Psychological mental problems. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Big shout out to Joy DeGruy, Dr. Joy DeGruy, excuse me. Big shout out to her. Because if what I see in our community, and I'm going to be real, low-level IQ people running around and being pushed to the front with mediocre behavior, effeminate brothers who are so aggressive, thinking that the thug is what we need. That's not the definitions of a man. We discussed it the other day. That's a surface-level, superficial masculinity. That's not real. And then you have our women thinking, being brainwashed by the media, being brainwashed by mainstream media, by the social media, by the magazines, Cosmo, Cosmopolitan, Sex and the City, all the other nonsense that's going out, that's been out there. Housewives of Atlanta, all the rest of that nonsense. And then promoting divisive and degrading based behavior. So we have an agenda being pushed to effeminize our men. Our men are being raised in matriarchal society. The women are being shown some other madness that's sending them in a different direction. They're not raising the children. There's no men in the communities. This is a mess, family. And we want to sit here having conversations back and forth on the YouTube, talking about Africa, talking about this, that, and the other. Yo, fix your backyard, fam. Fix your backyard. Stop gumming on the platforms, whining and complaining and moving when we are not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
I had it with your whining and bumbling.
That's right. Tell him, Skeletor. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of hearing about people being sick and tired. I'm tired of it, man. We don't want to do things the right way.
Now we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
Choice is yours. What do you want to do? So let's see what Claude Anderson says. Let's see what more he has to add for us. Let's see.
So the meek, the weaks, and the freaks. And that's the same thing you represented during slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery. They took care of you during slavery. And what you're going to represent the meek, the weaks, and the freaks. And that's the same thing you represented.
I like that. You're going to represent the meek, the weak, and the freaks. Now, we're not talking about the meek in terms of the scriptures where the Most High says we should be meek. That's not what he's speaking about here, right? But he said the meek, the weak, and the freak. That's what's going on up in the. Take a step back and look at what's going on. You've got the meek, the weak, and the freak going on up in here. Nah, bruh. and we want to call ourselves we Israel, we're the chosen, we special, we kings, we queens, we this, we that. And then I look at your behavior, and then I'm like, hold on a second, how are we behaving like calling ourselves kings and queens, but we behaving like peasants, worse than peasants? And we glorify that behavior just to say that's something. No, we should be ashamed of ourselves. No, I'm done with that foolishness. I'm done with that foolishness, because when I walk out on the street, there's something called a group ethnic image, gentlemen, ladies. And when we have our people running around acting a fool on the TV, on social media, acting like shucking and jiving like the new dancing monkey on the block.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
Having to go along to get along, gang. No, that ethnic image is destroying us. It's destroying us. We have to rewrite a new ethnic image, and we've been given the blueprint, but we don't want to go there, do we? to go to the scriptures and pick up the blueprint that tells us that we are kings, that tells us that we are chosen, that tells us that we were prepared and predestinated in the beloved. We don't want to do that. No. Because you've heard of religion. You didn't go and read the book yourself. You didn't go read the book yourself. Well, here's the Powernomics book. I've got one of the books. I'm going to read it out on this platform. And you guys are going to go through what this brother wrote over how many years ago? What, 30 now? 94? Yeah, we're talking about 30 years ago. But let's play some more, man.
Doing slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery. And they got you again. And now this was the only hope black folks had during the election. And they didn't vote. They voted, they gave the Democratic Party about 95% of their vote. And now nobody wants to do a damn thing for them. And so we're in deep trouble. And so the Democrats came up with an agenda saying, once we get in office, here's what we're going to do for black folk. I said, what the hell is that? Well, we're gonna give them just a big hunk of, we're gonna give them a great big hunk of non-economic socialism. And I said, what is it? Non-economic socialism and liberalism for. And they said, we're gonna give them some public housing.
You know what they said they're gonna give you? Non-liberal, they said non-economic liberal socialism. You know what that is? Yes, suck lemon. That's what they told you. They were like, we want reparations. Reparations. We're going to give you non-economic social liberalism. That's what we're going to give you. And we took it. 95% vote. Why are you voting for? The system is corrupt. The system is corrupt. Oh, no, you know what? Don't let me get started. Don't let me get started. And it's not just in the US. This is also in the UK. You have two parties. You have the Democrats and Republicans, and then you got the Independents. And over here in the UK, you've got the Labour Party and you've got Conservative Party. And neither one of those parties do anything for our community. Big shout out to AdPack. For those of you that don't know, go check them out. Big shout out to them and all the work that they're doing behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying? Definitely going to be bringing more information about them soon. So don't worry, watch this space. But it's there. Let me read this snippet out of his book. Let me read this. From Powernomics, it says the national plan of I read that already. The economic and political and educational action steps in Powernomics set principles and strategies and models that are offered in this book are based on the analysis of the complex web of racial monopolies. You need to understand this. Racism is not, oh, this white man don't like me, and he told me an N-word, and that's not racism. Wake up. Racism is a group economic effort. It's a collective thing. Read Psalms 83. It says it right there. They were confederate against us. Somebody didn't just sit down and think this up by themselves. A group of people, it's called a think tank. They put laws and policies in place to stop us from being able to get wealth. So marching is not going to solve the problem. We must go back. Fighting is not going to solve the problem. Waving flags and going down with guns is not going to solve the problem. How we solve the problem is by looking inward to ourselves. Reestablishing, leaving their culture and reestablishing morals, standards, and principles. But y'all don't want to hear that, do you, innit? Y'all don't want to hear that, innit? Because on this platform, we're talking real talk. We ain't talking no talk about, twerking and, shaking my booty.
I said, bitch, who raised you?
I ain't doing that on this platform, right? So don't nobody want to hear me talking about what I'm talking about, right? Because talking righteousness, talking work, that's like kryptonite to our people, right? Giving them any sort of push in the right direction and saying, listen, let's stop being base. Let's stop being mediocre. Let's stop being ghetto. Let's stop being low level. Let's stand in our purpose. Let's stand in our square. Let's grow. Let's manifest. Let's build. And then what do you hear? You hear the naysayers come out. You hear the go along to get along gang come out. You hear the crabs in the barrel come out. You hear them brothers, these kind of brothers, yeah, these kind of brothers only in it for themselves. Yeah, them kind of brothers looking like Gollum up in a cave somewhere with their skin looking pale because they're trying to get their precious shekels from the system and will set up the people. This is in Africa and this is in the diaspora. This is our people. Yeah, no, I take accountability. I ain't sugarcoating nothing over here. It is what it is. Truth is truth. The first pillar and the first foundation of love plus support of LSG is love, truth. Christ said it best. I am the way, I am the life, I am the truth. No, you can't go nowhere besides it because truth is the present reality. We have to accept it and start from there. Humility is also something we need upon our community, but that's the conversation for another day. Let's play the video.
We're gonna double the income for unemployed workers. We're gonna give them some more money for education, and we're gonna give them some more money for welfare. We're gonna give them some more money and for prison reform. We're gonna give them some more money. I said, no. That's for everybody. What are you going to do for black folk? They said, we ain't going to do a damn thing for black folk.
Uh-oh. They clearly said it to you. We ain't going to do a damn thing for black folk. They said it. So big shout out to all my ADOS people that were telling me on this platform, yo, we ain't African. We are American. We American descendants of slavery or whatever they were trying to talk about. Y'all want to stay in America, man. I'm done with this conversation over here, man. Don't come on my platform with this foolishness. I've got people talking about we're not descended from Africa, we are descended from America, and you were enslaved. Okay, if you was descended from America and you were enslaved and you want to get reparations from this establishment and the status quo, then please stay there and work on that. Don't come over here and have the conversation about Africans and people who were taken into slavery. Because those people go back to a chosen prophecy. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but hey, if that's not you, that's fine. The conversation is about those people who understand that we come from Africa, the continent, and that we have a connection to that land. For those who understand who you are spiritually within that land, shout out to my brothers out here. For those that understand. Israel's rising. Whether you like it, believe it, accept it, or see it or not, it is what it is. Let's see what happens. Let's read on.
So now the results coming out now again from the institution saying that right now that basically white folk are still anti-black. I told them when blacks came out of slavery back in 1865, study says that at that time 98%.
Oh, let me hold this right here, right? Because first time just said something amazing. I'm going to put some of their comments up. So they said the 4 stages of reconciliation, right? The 4 stages of reconciliation and awareness that there is a grievance, an acknowledgement that there is a problem, identification, empathizing, and understanding the aggrieved. Beautifully put and well said. Processes, steps. The same thing that they used, what Claude Anderson is saying, racism isn't something emotional. It is a thought out plan, people. So why do we keep addressing racism with emotions? Black Lives Matter. Let's go and march.
I said, bitch, who raised you?
Like, really? Yo, family, we need to be serious, man. First time, second it says, it's calling me spiritually home. That's right, Africa's calling. The scripture says, when you see Jerusalem pass with armies, flee into the wilderness. Flee into the mountains. It says, come out from among her, my people, so that you may not be partakers of her sins. It says, save yourself from this untoward generation. Babylon is falling, is falling, is fallen. And y'all want to sit here and don't want to come out of Babylon. Okay. I'm not here to convert you. I'm just here to speak the truth, show the evidence, show the truth, and say, listen, that calling that you're hearing first time, the scripture says many are called, but few are chosen. It says make sure of your election. So family, if you're hearing the call, you need to start making plans, start moving. We've heard the call also. Many people have heard the call and gone before us. We'll be going behind them very soon, or coming behind them very soon. For those who are hearing, whatever you want to call it, the ancestors are speaking to you, the land is speaking to you, the Most High is speaking to you. I'm not going to belittle that, because I understand that spiritually we are connected people. But the calling is real, answer. The calling is real, connect. The calling is real, come together with like-minded people. The calling is real. Don't be worrying about these other people looking at us like we crazy. Like, nah, we don't need that. Nah, we're good. Miss me with that. We've got stuff to do. You hear me?
Okay.
And when I come on this platform telling people like, listen, we need to go back to Africa. You see what I'm saying? You know what these people be telling me?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I'm like, what? But they want to stay up in here, right? All right, cool. You want to stay in America? Cool. You want to stay in UK? Cool. Listen, if that's what you want to do, that. But rest assured that there is something coming in the next 7 or 8 years. It's called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We are in that process and in that time right now. There is great change and great unrest happening. There is earthquakes in diverse places, pestilence. Australia is having a mouse plague. Moving mice, millions of them. But we want to sit here pretend nothing's happening, right? All right, cool. Let's keep playing the video. Nothing's happening. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Don't worry. Nothing's happening here until it's too late. And then you're like,
Oh my God! Oh God!
yeah. And the elite will be looking at you like,
Gotcha, bitch.
the devil and all his cohorts and those people in that negative mind and negative spirit are going to be looking at you like,
Gotcha, bitch.
Nah, what are you going to do? All right, let's watch the video. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you can be kept up to date with our programs when they come out. Sometimes I'm going to be dropping them on the fly. Sometimes they're going to be in the nighttime as usual, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But hit the bell so that you know when it's coming up. Don't forget to support the channel, guys. We are trying to support our own melanated media. BLKMailTV is going to be a platform for all of us to be able to showcase our things, our products, our business, our life, our mindset, show our love, and show our light. So support the channel, guys. I've dropped the details down below in the scroll. Whether by PayPal or by Cash App, show some support, man. All right? Platform's not going to build itself. Got to put our money where our mouth is. Powernomics. Big shout out to first time. Look, they said that I'm subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you. Welcome to the BLKMailTV family. You know, but let's watch some more of the video.
Dr. Watkins, 98% of all the white people in America were opposed to freeing blacks from slavery and secondly from giving them any damn thing. That's why they didn't get 40 acres of the mule. They weren't gonna get a damn thing. All they do is set free with no thought, no money, no clothes, no education, no tools, no animals, no land, no resources, no religion, nothing. No guns, no weapons.
Nothing.
And said, you go out there and root haul or die. And I looked up root haul or die back in the old days. That meant you're going to be like a hog, go out and dig for roots in the ground or just perish. And
that's what they left you, man. You need to understand the heart and the mind of the people that do this sort of thing. The ruling elite, the powers that be, they wouldn't pee on you if you were on fire. As far as they're concerned, they need to grind us and keep us in the powder. Are we listening yet? Are we learning yet? Are we ready to change yet? Repent, because repent just means to change. Are we ready to repent? Are we ready to change? Because some of us walking up in here and we see the building on fire, but we ain't walking out. We're like,
I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
yeah, but Jesus told you to come out the fire, but you don't want to hear that, right? Jesus said to you, come out the fire. You don't want to hear that, right? He said, oh Lord, Jesus is a fire. But we got brothers and sisters up in here talking and flapping their lips like,
I'm human, what I gotta do to get it through to you. I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rebel, so that anything you say is ricocheting off of me.
yeah. Lip flappers. That's what I call them. Lip flappers. I know I had a conversation with a brother the other day, right? He told me, listen, some of the words that I use can be a bit direct, can be a bit, intense. But I said, bro, when somebody's about to fall off a cliff, do you start whispering to them, excuse me, excuse me, you're about to fall off a cliff, excuse me? Or are you going to say, hey, stop what you're doing? Which one are you going to do? Because I know if my child is about to fall off a cliff, I'm not going to be sitting there like, hey, excuse me, excuse me, can you stop, walking off the cliff? Yeah, that's going to happen, isn't it? Because people like to talk, it's your tone, or the way you speak, or the way, that's right, first, you're going to scream. People talking about it's your tone, the way you speak. All right, cool. But if you're gonna put your hand in the fire, am I gonna say, "Excuse me, little one, just the way you feel"? Let's just ask the question before you put your hand in the fire and burn yourself. How do you feel about getting? What are you talking about? You're gonna stop the child from burning themselves straight off the bat. So when I see our people going down into hell in a handbasket again, because make no mistake about it. Listen, you were not part of the last industrial revolution that took place where electricity came out. That was not our society. But now we have the opportunity with the fourth industrial revolution to come to set ourselves apart, go our own way, go back to our God, go back to our culture, go back to who we were and who we are as a people. But we don't want to do that, innit? We don't want to do that, innit? We like the games, we like the playing, we like the party. All right, let's play the video, man. Let's play the video.
So they're down back to that. Black folk got to either root hard or die. And we're going to give them all this stuff. And I got all these blacks associated with Biden. I said, tell me right now, what is Biden going to do for black folk? He ain't going to do a damn thing. Same thing. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Way out in Oklahoma, some damn place in Kansas.
And there it is. He said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. You ain't sick and tired of sucking that lemon yet, family? You ain't tired of sucking that lemon, family? I know I am. I am tired to death of looking at a few Negroes thinking that they've made it because they got a few shekels in their pocket, and the rest of us are sitting on gold and we're not tapping into it because the leaders, the so-called leaders in our community, the go along to get along gang, are keeping and maintaining the status quo so that their pockets are always lined up first. Real talk.
And all that. But how'd they get so advanced? Because the real Wall Street was in Durham, North Carolina, and that one got wiped out. And they are the ones that had started all the insurance companies, and they had the banking systems down there, and they had their own bus lines and cab companies. And North Carolina was very sophisticated. That's where that came from. And so, what whites have always destroyed anything that would put black folk in a position to be competitive with them. That is.
I want you to pay attention to this section right here. He says that these people, the nations that be, the people that be in power, have never allowed us to be competitive with them. Why? Well, we're the salt of the earth. Look at, you give us a little bit of something, look what we're able to turn it into. The average, listen, man, somebody told me that the majority of Edomites, European Caucasians, are lazy, boring, and unimpressive. Not my words. Somebody told me. And I was like, huh? But when I look at the culture, not to say that they haven't done a great achievements, they've done great achievements in their culture. But when you look at it as a whole, when you look back on a whole, no, I don't, in my personal opinion, the achievements that they received and they gained, I don't think they were worth it because at the detriment of the state of the world that it's in. I don't agree with that. Other people may disagree with me on it. You have your opinion. You're entitled to that. If you feel upset by the words that I'm speaking on my platform, I'm sorry, close your ears, get some earbuds, or change the channel. Don't be getting your feelings and trying to leave stupid comments on my platform. I'll just delete that crap. Because we've given way too much space to mediocrity and foolishness. It's time that those people, if you're not going to be helping the cause, you need to shut up and get out of the way.
Shut up, Meg.
Let's play some more.
The nature of walls, that's the nature of.
Let me take it back a couple of seconds. Listen carefully. Listen to what he
says. Black folk in a position to be competitive with them. That is the nature of walls. That's the nature of racism. I've told blacks all of my life now, since I was 21 years of age, what racism was. They still want to try to define racism by how white folks define racism. What did whites say? Racism is whether or not you like somebody or you're mean to them. And then that's what racism is. That's a lie. Racism is an economic issue. It's a group-based economic issue where groups are competing to own and control resources, wealth, and power. That's what racism is. That came up.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, and I make mental health education videos. A delusion is a fixed false belief. And despite evidence that goes against what you believe, you still believe it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Delusion, family. Racism, it just said it to you. That it's not about how you feel, about how somebody feels about you. They always want to keep you in your emotions, because when they keep you emotional, you're not thinking logically and rationally. You're not thinking with the spirit. You're not thinking with the mind. You're not thinking with the higher self of being. House of Dream says their achievements were of the colonization, enslavement, and displacement of our people. Facts. A delusion is a fixed false belief. We still keep believing that these people want to help us, that we're going to be equal in their society. They're going to elevate us and put us up there. You have to understand that within their own community, there is infighting. A house divided against itself cannot stand. So while you're going to the establishment to ask for reparations and this, that, and the other, you're not taking care of home because you're asking someone else to benefit you. This is the problem with Israel. We're always asking the Gentiles for foolishness and not going to our power to get it. Thank you, sis. Let's keep going.
59 on the eve of the Civil War. And a few blacks have been profiting like Durham, and they said, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of Tulsa. When I didn't kill about 600 people in Tulsa and burn the whole damn city down. But it was not on.
Have we rebuilt another city since Tulsa? Since Greenwood, since all those other black cities? Have we done that?
The broad society, but also the little air aviation out there, almost like a National Guard. They also they dropped the bombs on the houses and burnt down the churches and buildings and everything. They did that there, but that's not the only place. They also burned down Wilmington, North Carolina, where blacks were doing extremely well up in Wilmington, North Carolina. They burned out Wilmington. And then after they got to burn out Wilmington, then went over and burned out a couple of places in Nashville where black folk had big, broad communities, doing extremely well, had their own businesses and their own communities. And why do I say communities? Because you see, whites have never wanted black folk to have communities. What they wanted to do was be isolated and be disorganized so they can come in, and whites can come in anytime they want them.
Told you, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Now look at all the divisions that we have within our community. Men against women, women against children, men against children. The children have been raised to hate men, so they don't have no respect for men, so then they can't take no authority and no leadership. But unfortunately, you need the leadership from the men to be able to deal with and balance your community. This is the problem, right? But oh, sorry, ladies, they're gonna come on my platform and they're gonna say, well, I'm an independent woman and I need to lead the household and I'm going to talk about that as well when we talk about Judge Joe Brown, and understand that you are living in a time where you do not understand the history and the mechanisms of the social structures that they put in place to mess you up now. It's called psychological programming. Psychological programming to lead you into a delusion like women don't need women need men like fish need bicycles.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, and I make mental health education videos. A delusion is a fixed false belief, and despite evidence that goes against what you believe, you still believe it.
Delusions like I'm a thug Negro, so I'm masculine. I'm on the streets, I'm on the road, so I'm doing that, even though that's not any definition of what masculinity is, and it's leading to single parent households, children all over the place, women going crazy, drugs and whatever in our neighborhood, people killing and shooting each other, etc., etc. But hey, I'm a thug, I'm a man, I'm masculine, right?
Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, and I make mental health education videos. A delusion is a fixed false belief. And despite evidence that goes against what you believe, you still believe it.
This is the problem with our people. We are trapped in a delusion that we don't want to accept is killing us, hindering us, keeping us at the base level. Big shout out to the new subscribers. True African Stand Up. New subscriber, greetings, blessings to you. Definitely hit the like button, family. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you can be kept up to date with the new videos that we bring out as we grow. We're trying to grow a network. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to grow the BLKMailTV family with an LSG mindset based on LSG principles. Love plus support equals growth. Love standing on fruits of the spirit, truth, accountability, honor, integrity, plus, and it's an equation, plus support, which stands for interdependent thinking, group economic mindset for self-determination and group self-interest. If you about it, support the channel. Let's grow together. Let's work together. If you ain't, that's fine. There's a whole lot of madness going on in Babylon that you can distract yourself with. But let's see how it goes on.
Started off originally way back in colonial days. They were called maroon towns. Maroon towns. And black folk would get away from white folk and go way out in the woods, way up in the mountains, any place, and build their own little communities, maroon towns. The whites would always go out for maroon hunting. You know, once or twice a year, they go out there looking for them and try to find where they are in the hills. And as soon as they find them, you know what they would do? They would kill them and burn them out. That was true all through history, whites. And so to make a long story short in that regard, this is very important for you to understand, particularly with the Congress, is that up until let me get the right date for you, until about 1940, up to about 1948 or late 1940s, that out of all the riots in America, if all the
pay close attention to this, he's about to drop some bombs. This man is over 70 years old, so he's lived through a lot of things, and this is why they're taking out our elders. They're taking out our elders because we are not going to our elders to pull the factual information, the lived information, the truth, the reality, so that we can better equip ourselves. Because the more information you have, the more knowledgeable you have. However, knowledge does not mean you have wisdom, because wisdom is the application of knowledge at any given time and situation. The appropriate knowledge, that is wisdom. And we as a people always love to acquire knowledge, but never want to apply the knowledge to give us wisdom. But let's continue.
Burnings and destruction of cities in America. Black folk had never burned down a city or town. Never burnt down a white neighborhood.
We have never burnt down a city or a town. This is truth. This is from history. For those who are just coming into the platform, coming to the channel, we are having a conversation about Dr. Claude Anderson. The title, as you've seen it when you came in, but I'm going to show you the banner anyway. I'll just have a brief stop and a brief conversation. We are talking about The Economic Impotance of Our Melanated People by Dr. Claude Anderson. And we've been talking about his 2 books, Black Labor, White Wealth and Powernomics, right? I'm watching his video, so let's get in. Catching the rest of it. We're almost near the end. If you've missed it, please go back and watch the beginning of it. Hit the like button, share the video, let more of our people know the information, because the more information you know, the more knowledge you have, the more informed you are, the more better decisions you're able to make for you and your family and your collective group.
Never burned down a white community. Have never. Only person been doing that is whites. Whites have been burning down towns now ever since the founding of slavery. And black folk don't know that. They let white, every time there's a disorder in a city, they say, all you black folk like to do is just burn down things at whites' home. Yes, because that's what you've been doing. Learned it from you. And there's never been one damn place in this nation where black folk have initiated and conducted a riot or a racial disorder and burned down the town. And see, the first thing I would say when I see blacks, they talk, well, what we're gonna have, let's have a study of whether or not we should have reparations for black.
Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? They said, let's have a study. That's what Biden said, this administration. Let's have a study for the next 7 years on reparations. For you, they need a study. For the Japanese and Hiroshima and Nagasaki, no, they didn't need the reparations. They didn't need a study for that. For the Jewish Holocaust, that so-called, whatever the case may be, they didn't need a report for that. For the Myanmar, I know the people up in there, they didn't need a report for that, right? But for us, they need a report. They need an investigation. And you know how long it takes? He said 7 years. Biden got elected last year. So 7 years from now, when's that? 2030. They fooled you again, people. 2030 is the end of the 4th Industrial Revolution. So if you're going to be sitting on your big booties, your big bazookas, right, waiting for somebody to come and give you some pie in the sky reparations, then I'm sorry, family, you deserve a slap.
Here. Why, yes,
Because come 2030, you are going to be flawed. The 4th Industrial Revolution is going to be here. AI is going to be here. What do you think is going to happen to your jobs? Robotics is going to be here. What do you think is going to happen to your jobs? They're already putting driverless cars in Russia. We already have drone deliveries for logistics in the UK. What do you think is happening for these low-level jobs that we as a people, majority of our people, are in? When they replace it with robotics, with AI, what do you think you are going to go, people? Oh, I'm talking nonsense, right? I'm talking Space Odyssey 1999. I must be crazy on this platform. This is, yo, family.
Silence, you funny fool.
Yeah, that's how people be talking to me like, this guy is crazy. He's talking about 4th Industrial Revolution. He's talking about a change in the economic marketplace and the market sphere. He's talking about robots coming in here. He must be out of his mind. Don't worry, people. While our people are shucking and jiving and dancing because they want red bottoms, they want the new Nikes, and they want to be, listen to the new latest whatever new nonsense whack music that's out there. While we're doing this nonsense,
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro.
They're running around building a whole new industrial superpower. And come 2030, when that operation report is going to come in, they're going to be like,
Gotcha, bitch.
Let's watch the video.
Hell, you didn't have studies for all the other people you gave reparations to. That is an insult. Why do black folks sit there and let people insult them and not do a damn thing for them? See, they didn't study all the white folks in the South after the Civil War was over. When they set up the Freedmen Bank for black folk, they put money and resources in there, saying the Freedmen Bank in the 1860s should have been taking care of black folk. But they switched it off, and guess what? And gave all the land that white folk in the South had lost on those plantations. They got all them billions of acres of free land in the South, all across the country and out west. They didn't do a study saying let's have a 7-year study to see whether or not they're entitled to some reparations since they lost the war. No, they gave them back all the darn land. Then turned around and created a law, said called the black codes and all that. And now we'll even give you back to black people. We'll reparate you all by not only give you back all the land that you lost during the Civil War, we'll give you back all the black.
So let me get this straight. Obviously, we know the history already, right? So after you fought, you got your slave, you got freedom. They went and rewrote back what laws, policies, codes of governmental structural policies and social customs to keep you enslaved. That's what they did. They didn't write it through racism. They put it into friggin' policy. That's why it's institutionalized. They don't need them to continue doing it no more. They just need you to obey the rules. And the rules are set against you.
That you lost during the Civil War. And for black women and for white women said, well, you know, we can help y'all keep these blacks in a hole in the late 1900s, about 1918. Said, you know, because right now, black folk are coming back from World War I in Europe. And those blacks will come back and they're concerned about getting more opportunities and privileges and rights in their economics. And we can help you all if you all give us the right to vote. And so white man went in and passed Amendment 19 to get white women a right to vote if they didn't own land. But white women have always had the right to vote.
Uh-oh. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know that. Right? That these women are sitting there, they're talking about women's liberation, we need the right to vote, but they've always had it. So what was that about, really? They came in there to usurp your women, to put your women under their thumb, to make our women want to be like their women, to want to put their, and they talk about a standard of European standard of beauty. Who is trying to act like these people? We're trying to adopt this behavior. Listen, stop it. You are your own people, but you don't want to go back to your African heritage. You want to look over at Africa and look at our brothers and sisters and be disgusted by it. Well, you know what? Stay over there in the West. Stay over there in the West. I'll be like Moses. I'd rather die with my people in poverty than stay over here in the West in riches and looking at the decay, decadent destruction of our people like frogs boiling in water, slowly being man. Y'all some of you brothers make me want to be like,
What did you say, nigga?
yeah. Stop it. We got work to do, man. Otherwise, it's our children that's suffering, not our children, family, our children. UK economic output on wealth, the gap, 0 in the last 10 years. Black Caribbean, Black African community. In America, you might as well call it 0. It's not even worth counting. Go back and watch those podcasts that I did the other day with the articles on there. Family, man, come. Nah. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, man. Where you at? How you feeling? Let's keep going.
They had to own land, had to have land in their name. And so that's why they passed Amendment 19. Nobody ever tells you that we women want the right to vote. Hell, you always had the right to vote. And the man that owned everything that you were sleeping with and going to bed with, having babies for and cooking for, he owned every damn thing. You co-owned, co-controlled it, co-influenced it, and inherited 100% of it. And she got reparations. Nobody did a study after World War II. After we had World War II with Europe, with the Germans, and at the end of the war, we gave reparations to call the Marshall Plan across Europe with billions of dollars. Nobody did a study, Dr. Watkins, and now black folk talking about, well, we got to approve House Bill 40. We approved that in the House of Representatives. We might not be able to get it through the Senate, so we have to take a little while and slow it down and try to figure out how we can get it through. And this is now House Bill 40. That's an insult and a shame, even me talking about it.
Right, so
the party.
leave it right there, family, because the video is a 2-hour long video, and it's on Dr. Boyce Watkins' channel. If you want to watch it, I'm gonna put the link in down below when we finish doing the program. But I just wanted to share some of that, family. I'm gonna do some more. This is what I'm saying, because it is a long video, and I didn't want to, keep you on here for like 6 hours. But this was just a 10-minute part that I clicked out, and that's already an hour of us doing it. But we should watch the whole video. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to break down another 10 minutes of it another time, because he speaks so much gems, family. It's like we need to take accountability of our behavior, of our mindset, of the things that we allow to come into our community. We talk so much about the white man, whatever, but the fact of the matter is us, we are the problem. I don't look at the white man and say he's the problem. He's done what he's supposed to do. Am I supposed to feel away because he's trying to keep his people and his family out of poverty? Am I supposed to feel away about that? No. What I do feel away about is the fact that our people still want to be looking like they don't know what's going on, running around here like
talking that nigga, that snitch. I ain't.
Nah, stop that, bro. We need to come together, man. And you know why we need to come together? Because this is I'm going to play you something that broke my heart when I heard it the other day. And this is coming from a melanated sister. Recognize.
Your grandmother, your great-grandmother actually could work with a black man with more trauma.
Because they understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we are all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man?
Thank you.
After I heard that statement, as far as I'm concerned, they got us on there, boy. And I'm going to take the L. I'll take the L. We lost the battle. They got us on that one. It's a victory. I'll take the L. But I'm going to tell my people, I'm not one of those people that take the L lying down. You got to get up. It's not about how many failures you have. It's about how many times you got up. It's about how many times you got up. Right now, they think they're chilling. But they don't understand the scripture says, when Judah riseth. When Judah riseth, rise up, Judah, where you at? For those that know, rise up, Judah, where you at? You're sitting on the continent, you're sitting on gold, and the world is waiting for you. The world is eating off you. The world is surviving off you. The world is milking you at every turn. Stand up, Judah. Separate yourself from this untoward generation. My melanated people, those of you that have the spiritual eyes to see and the spiritual ears to hear. Yeah, I'm talking straight. The spiritual eyes to see and the spiritual ears to hear come together. The calling has gone out. It wasn't done by me. I'm answering. I'm just a messenger. I'm pushing it forward. The calling has gone out. What's your answer? Where you at, family? The fourth industrial revolution is on the horizon. They're changing the financial system. It's not going to be money no more. They're using medical catastrophe to force you into a socialist construct. They're putting you into slavery again. It's time to access your power. All right. With that, family, I'm going to say much love to everybody in this chat room right now. You lot have been fire in the chat room. Big shout out to True African Stand Up. First time new subscriber. Big shout out to first time jumping up in here. You guys have been amazing today. You've been keeping the conversation live. Big shout out to House of Blooms. Absolutely been in here tearing down the conversation. You guys have been, I'm not going to lie, you guys have been keeping me excited and you've been keeping me entertained, reading your comments as I'm going through the chat. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you might be like, hey.
I woke up to go give me a cold pop.
That's how I feel right now. You guys have been so cool up in the chat. You make a cold pop. And I have to get me a cold pop at some point. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for coming across. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening in. You see what I'm saying? Stand in your power. Men, stand in your purpose. come under a set standard of principles, morals, and ethics that we can go forward and be leaders in our household, in our community, so that our women can come behind us. Don't chase after no women. All these young men out here that, you know, you want to be chasing after women. No. You're doing it wrong. Come and follow the laws, statutes, commandments, the principles, morals, and ethics that establish us and keep us on a higher level, so that our women can look at us with, be proud, so that they can attain and want to be led. But you must first build that square, be on your platform, be on that chief cornerstone. You got to do it, family. Big shout out to Creepers sponsoring the chat. I've been drinking over here. I know I didn't show the video today, guys, but don't worry, I'll be showing the video next time, right? But she been sponsoring us, right? So big shout out to Creepers. Definitely go check her out on Instagram, guys. She been making some amazing Ray Nephew punch with the fruit punch and the pineapple punch. And for all my Caribbean brothers and sisters over there in the island, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? You know what I'm talking about. Don't be slacking out here, mate. Go get yours. Because I'm sitting here drinking mine, and I'm going to be drinking it for the next couple of hours or something. Right? Oh, Customizably UK. Big shout out to you, sis. Really look forward to your work. Go check her out as well on Instagram. Of course, I'm going to support the family where I can. So on this platform, if I can shout you out, I'll shout you out. But family, go support, go follow, go subscribe. Yeah? We're also on Instagram. That's where we started. Right? So we moved over to YouTube, but we started out on Instagram. So if you want to be part of the Instagram family, part of the LSGLifestyle, subscribe to us on Instagram. And I'm going to put up it's the same name, BLKMailTV. There's only one name called BLKMailTV, so you can't miss it. Big shout out to Royal Risings. That's right, sis. Love you in the building. But no, family, really appreciate the conversations. Really appreciate all of that. Let me read some of the comments. True Africa Standing Up says, I'm standing behind my brothers. That's right. We're standing behind you too. We're not looking for everyone, but we are looking for those who've been called, those who have the spiritual eyes to see and the spiritual ears to hear, because there's too much foolishness and too much emotion flying around on this YouTube platform, flying around on these social media platforms. People are not getting the right direction. Not to say that I have all the answers, because I'm not the king. That's someone else's seat. I'm just your bro. But as your bro who has been in this walk and who has learned this thing and who's been following the Most High for a long time and seeing the economic, historical, and social abuse that's been happening to us as a people, nah, man, I got to stand up and say something. I've been saying something for the last 10 years. Whether I was in the Israelite community, I was saying something. Whether I was in the whether I was in the Kemet knowledge, I was saying something back in 2008. I was saying something. So, yo, we got to step in our zone. We got to step in our lane, man. I'm just your bro. I'm sharing the love. And I'm putting my hand out and say, yo, for those of you in like mind and like spirit, who can see, who can hear, who've been called. If you've been called and you're hearing the call to go home, family, pick up your bags and go home. I don't care how you're going to do it. Because the scripture says, if a man findeth a diamond, something precious in the field, does he not go and sell all that he hath to purchase that field? So my question to you, family, is, on the continent is a pot of gold, is a land of gold. I'm not saying it's all roses and hunky-dory and kumbaya. No. I'm done with that Egypt nonsense. It's going to be a graft on the continent. It's going to be work. But there is no place on this earth that you can put in work for at least 5 to 10 years and you can come out on the other side like a king, like a queen, established, your children. We need to go and do the work. We built the world. We did it before. Now let's build it for ourselves. Let's build ours. And if they want to come and be part, then we have the option to make that decision. With that said, family, I'm not going to keep you here for too long. Just what I'm saying. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash that bell notification. All right, family. With that, peace, love you, I'm out.